I was like, oh.
What radio station was that?
The 94.1.
Yeah, you can hear everything.
Well, we can check that. I'm here.
He was supposed to speak today.
No, he spoke, and that's what we're going to talk about right now is Paul Ryan's speech tonight at the Republican National Convention in Tampa, Florida. My guests today are Jackie and Carla. We're at Our House Services Incorporated right here in West Oakland. I'm your host, Melina Lawrence, and we just chopping it up with the residents at Our House and Executive Director Carla Lawrence, which is my mom too. Just kind of really off the cuff chit chat at the table after dinner, because when Paul Ryan was giving his speech, it was actually dinner time. So what better time to have conversation than after, during, or before a good meal? And we were listening to KPFA, a homegrown station right here, free media, free speech radio, KPFA, Davey D, and I don't forget the other host's name, but Davey D and crew. They're actually at the convention now, and I just want to chime in because the phone was ringing off the hook during this speech tonight at Our House, and my cell phone was going crazy, Twitter is going crazy, and we're posting for Voter Express and the Constituent and giving mass shout outs to all our community partners. So let's start with my mom here and then get to Jackie on welfare reform. But Mom, what did you think about Paul Ryan's speech tonight?
I thought Paul Ryan was, or is, actually a dummy for Mitt Romney. I actually think he is just a face behind the politics right now, and he had to have a strong runner, a young person. He bought in at the last minute. He bought off at the last minute to come in and campaign for him because he had none this whole time up until this last month. And I think that was a ploy. I actually think it was a ploy this whole time. And so when he said tonight, let's not forget the opening statement from Condoleezza Rice.
Ooh.
Which was talking about our country and talking about she was talking about the welfare reform or the politics of foreign government policy.
Yeah, because before, and Jackie, you came in after class tonight, but we had Condoleezza Rice speaking at the Democratic convention tonight. I mean the Republican, excuse me, the Republican National Convention tonight, and then following Condoleezza Rice was the Vice President nominee, Paul Ryan. So to Mom's point, my dear sister Condi, and I was coming home from work chiming in and out of her speech. I'm going to rewatch her speech and see the tapes coming from it. But what I got from her, and I'm going to get back to your point, is the talk about building a movement and mentioning the civil rights movement. And we built this. It was a lot of we built this between Condoleezza and Paul Ryan.
Oh, really?
Like, we built this.
We built this.
And so, it disturbs me. It disturbs me two things. A few things disturb me about like, to your point, Mom. Some of the mentioning of who built this country, we built this country, Paul Ryan and his, back to your point, being young and charismatic. For his base, and the crowd cheered and applauded continuously through his speech. But when I watched him, I had mute feelings, like it was mute. I didn't get no real connection from Paul Ryan. And I understand you know, having Paul Ryan, a young cat, matched up with someone seasoned in such a monetary game like Mitt Romney for president. So for me, it's like tonight the Republican Party pulled out their young gun. And so he's slinging shots at the president, and he's slinging shots at the Obama administration, and he's slinging shots at Obamacare, and he's slinging shots at the stimulus package, and he's slinging shots, and he's slinging so many shots at the party. But one thing he did do is he brought out issues, and nobody has really stepped to the plate in a matter of main key speeches to discuss the issues. Ann Romney, she discussed the morals, the moral values of, you know, being wholesome in American family. New Jersey Governor Chris, he talked about morals, love or respect. So out of love and respect, those are morals.
Right.
But what are the issues?
She sound like a Hallmark card.
She did.
She sound like a Hallmark card.
I
Put on the face, then you know that Mick is for the country. And vote for Mick.
Yeah.
You
she pretty much, she spoke to her base. When she was, Jackie, just to let you in, she pretty much opened up, you know, loving women, corralling women. What concerned me is that, again, and I want to be so fair and balanced, but it's hard to be fair and balanced when you don't get nothing to be
fair and balanced.
Exactly.
Look.
So her point to women, the women she was speaking to did not look or feel like men.
Right.
Those women that she's talking to and that base that she's, you know, corralling are soccer moms, elderly, you know, white women and young white women and older soccer moms, people that reflected the audience base at the Republican National Convention.
All had flip hair, nice haircuts, and $200, $300, $1,500 suits on. And you know, that was who she was talking to. She wasn't talking to us.
She wasn't talking to black women.
She wasn't
they don't
talking to
get
poor women.
Poor women.
You know,
But you
you
never
got
see, even in their campaigns, sorry to interrupt you, even in their commercials, or you never see them interacting with the people in a normal society, you know? And it's never, I've never seen really one where he's interacting with anyone other than what's benefiting or to show something with the ads.
Photo ops.
You know? But it's like, he's not really, I don't think he's for the people anyway. I think it's a self-gain and to try and get just Obama out because, one, he's a black man, so, you know, that didn't never supposed to happen. And then to get the white man back in there, and then we're back on that American trail of what things supposed to be. You know, that's, but I really wish I would have got a chance to really listen to it, but I know with that Colombian thing or Cuban thing, I'm going to look that up because...
Yeah, I want you to look that up and get back to me. When Paul Ryan opened his speech, he said, I accept the duty. I accept the duty to help lead our country out of the job crisis and back to, you know, the road of prosperity.
Now, how's he going to do that different from what... Because the stimulus helped bring millions of people, thousands of people out of unemployment, and it helped save businesses. You know, the stimulus package not only helped employ people, but it helped businesses stay open. And then that bank bailout helped the banks stay open, you know.
But the banks, I'm going to have to disagree. The banks are going to stay open regardless.
right.
The banks they're built off of buying into and out of insurance policies that will always bond them for life.
Okay.
Even like, you know, Wells Fargo, if anything, the banks made profit off of home bailouts. The bailouts against homeowners, because homeowners like you, homeowners like millions of Americans all over this country, when that bailout happened, an economic blackout happened. And not for corporations, but for American families.
Right.
And we're still recovering. People
How
are
many
still
people
on
lost
phone for
their homes?
hours at a time.
Months.
Months.
Years.
Day after day after day.
Yeah.
You know, and so California, Chicago, Michigan, so many key states all over the country, New York, you know, have been hit. And that's why we had
California,
movements.
the worst hit.
Yeah, and we had movements like Occupy Wall Street and things like that. But they didn't talk about those issues. Like you brought up a good point. Those bailouts, we still need to be bailed out.
Right.
And we're still, you know, coming and going like
And as when you look at the money station, they're talking about we still need to put back into our country like $3 trillion to open up jobs and get our country back on track as far as the jobs, the economics, and to get balanced again. So they're still talking about we need to put money back in. Where if right now the way our country is going, how can you expect this one man to, in 4 years, turn around something that has been going on for 12 years?
and some, yeah.
And some.
Yep.
You know?
He had a lot to say. Paul Ryan had a lot to say. I'm not spending a lot of time on Condoleezza Rice. I want to really watch her speech before I speak to her or any of the points and comments that she made. But I do want to say, yeah, at the end and at the beginning, you know, Paul Ryan, he pulled out, I'm going to just call him the young gun of the RNC, the young gun of the RNC. What he did was, when he pulled out the issues and tried to unpack some of those issues, or Davey D had made a comment on Twitter. He said when it came to the outsourcing, that's the issue, is outsourcing jobs. And in his home state, when they outsourced and President Obama made his remarks that plant, the GM plant, was closed under his watch. And a lot of things that were said, people, we have to check our facts, because most of those factories, including the one in his state, was closed under the Bush administration. When the Bush administration started outsourcing jobs, outsourcing jobs in 2000 on 2002 and 2003 and 4, it blew up like wildfire. They were making mad cash outsourcing jobs. Companies dashed out of the United States. And so now we are feeling an economic bubble based on someone's past actions. And name calling our president, name calling the policies and the bills, and you talking a lot but you're not saying nothing because you name calling and not solution building is really what I'm tired of. So it's like, what do we do? What do we do as a country, and what do we do with and to our elected leaders who are making promises to save a road of economic quote-unquote disaster or on the road to recovery?
Well, I think anybody that is in office, they need to be realistic, and they can say what they would like to try and do in a certain amount of time, but I don't think anyone should make promises because they're not, they're not sure it's going to follow through. They can say, this is what I want to see happen, or this is my goal and my plans, but it's not, you can't say, well, by this time, this is what it's going to be. No, this is my aim, this is my goal, because it's going to always be a failure if we look to one person to do it all, instead of reaching out to the whole society or the whole country to help bring it out, you know.
And that's one thing I can say about it. And you know, he's not in office anymore, and bless him, he's going on to retirement. But Ron Dellums, he said, this is not about me. He said, this is about us.
Mayor Ron Dellums of Oakland.
Mayor Ron Dellums, former mayor of Oakland. And he stated in his, when he was campaigning, this is not about me. This is about us. This is about us working together to make the changes. And that was his whole statement all the way through office. And he worked in the communities. And he had his assigned delegates that were in the office to represent him, working in the communities with the people on a daily basis. So with him being out of the office, it's like we need to get back to it. We need to get back to the communities.
Yeah, we need to get back to the community all across the country. And one of the points I'll make as we wrap up this part of the discussion is Paul Ryan mentioned the way that to keep things on track or get America on track. He said let me quote him, correctly. The truest measure for any society who treats people who can't speak for themselves, like the Republican Party would represent people who can't speak for themselves. And we've seen this week where party members are, talking crazy out of turn, talking real crazy out of turn when it came to reproductive rights, when it came to rape and abortion. And rape is like, one congressman said, rape, having a child out of wedlock is like being raped. And someone else said, talked about basically rape is what was that comment? Illegitimate rape. But the main issue of reproductive rights and healthcare and women, in the eyes of a man in a party, and women's rights to have children, to have pro-choice, if you will, is something that should be discussed on any given day amongst all women and teenage girls, even, about the rights of reproduction and protecting your reproductive rights. If anything, that's the main line. And not to get off topic, I was looking for what he said in regards to where he wanted to go. He said we will not duck the hard issues. So he named some of the issues, but he didn't discuss the solutions. Back to your point, Jackie, he said we would reapply our founding principles. And for me, that stuck out, because if I'm looking at him and I'm like, this cat don't look like he talking to me or any of my people of color, any of my black people, any of my Latino people, any of my Cuban people, any of my real peoples, even my trailer park hood peoples. He's not talking to any of us who are middle class, below, or above, that don't have their mindset in order. And the founding principles of America.
That's what
that's why they had Condoleezza Rice come out. Come on now.
Yeah.
It ain't about that. It's about getting that black face out there. A woman who had, who went to school.
The best schools.
Who went to the best schools. But what was the proposition at that time that they took away from our people?
Well, the education we gotta do our research. The education proposition that it was a debate on, even, and I know in California, allowing it to be. Oh, where is Evan? Allowing I can't.
I could pull it
but
out
it's allowing students, allowing room for black students to attend institutions of higher learning. What's that dude's name? It's not good, but we can move on.
Yeah, he was a professor here at Berkeley.
Yeah, damn, what's his name?
I don't even know.
Okay, let's move on real quick. He said in his response, reapply our founding principles. If he's reapplying the founding principles of the United States of America, then we going back. And those founding principles was not dedicated to the proposition that all men and women were created equal. And those propositions did not see black people as full citizens. Maybe nor women. Exactly, Jackie. And those founding principles, which really scare me, sets our country into a slave state nation.
Yep. Where the Bill of Rights is made to bring us out of, and the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly.
That's what it was made for, so that we would get out of a slave state, a slave-based country, and have a freedom of independence and feel like we were a part of the government and that our voices, was mattered. You know, and it's like with that, no. And like how you talked about Condoleezza Rice, that's to put because Obama's black, right? So let us get somebody on our team that's black so we can get the black vote. That's what that is. But you know, she ain't about nothing. Shoot.
And on that note,
I'm sorry.
On that note, no, we gonna stay tuned and stay close and keep a close watch on the Republican National Convention, on some of the issues that are dropping in our house and in our community, locally and nationwide. We're right here in West Oakland.
Just remember, Condoleezza Rice left the office before they start talking about capturing and the capturing and
Saddam Hussein.
Right.
And I know we said we was about to leave, but today we can't leave without giving a shout out and prayers.
I can't believe you guys are still coaching.
Yeah, and prayers out to those who were affected by Hurricane Katrina. This is the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
The seventh year.
And they did not mention anything about Hurricane Katrina at all during the Republican National Convention in any one of speeches. But he did say, Paul Ryan did say, the thrill is something new because they're tired of all the dead slogans. A ship is trying to sail on yesterday's winds. As he said that, when he said a ship trying to sail on yesterday's winds, it made me think of, but what's sailing today? The wind is blistering, is more than, has set sail beyond measure. Right now, Hurricane Isaac has set sail in New Orleans, and people are in their attics because the levees are still there, but the levees are shaking with buoyancy. I don't know if it's going to break or not, but we're in a state of emergency. In Louisiana, where Hurricane Isaac is, in Arkansas, and in Oakland, where Chevron's plants blew up. It's all environment related. It's all about our environment.
Venezuela.
It's all about the energy. And right now, we're going to keep the energy good. We're going to send our prayers out to our people in New Orleans and the South period who are affected by the storm. And our prayers are with you. And we don't judge our prayers on no political party.
I know.
Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome. You know what this... Wait, I'll wait.